Hey everyone, I'm kalimsiYT and today I'm back with another speed build. Today I'm building a grocery store and an urgent care, so both of these are going to be on the same lot, and I built this in Willow Creek, which came with the base game, and I'm doing this on the lot Movers and Shakers. And this lot originally has a gym on it for your Sims to go to, but I bulldozed it and I decided to build this instead for my save file. And I'm using the retail system in order to create this. So it's going to be a grocery store, and that's going to operate as a retail store, and then the urgent care is technically going to be the same retail store because you can't have two businesses on one lot operate at the same time with the retail functionality that came with Get to Work, which is the main engine I'm kind of using for this. And so as a result, if you buy the slot and you were to play it, you'd be operating both the grocery store and the urgent care at the same time. And the reason that I wanted to build this is because I think it's kind of unrealistic that there isn't a way for Sims to grocery shop, or go anywhere whenever they get sick. So, like for example, I know in cottage living you can technically get groceries delivered that way, and that's cool and all, but I would like my Sims sometimes to go to a physical store and do it. And then same when they get sick, because with Get to Work your Sims can get sick, and so you have to order medicine off of the computer in gameplay, but I don't always want to do that, and a lot of times I will play like a rags to riches with like really poor Sims, and so they don't always have a computer on their lot yet. And so I wanted to give an option for your Sims to travel to a place to get both those things done instead. So this is functional in that in the urgent care portion, I do have medicine that is set for sale, so your Sims can go in and purchase it. And then in the grocery store, I do have some items that are also set for sale, like not ones that won't go bad. So the one like the wine bottles from Horse Ranch, and then I have the canned goods from Cottage Living. Those are set for your Sims to purchase. And then additionally, I have two of the little vendor stalls in there as well. I have the grocery one from Cottage Living, and then I also have one of the fish market ones that comes with cats and dogs. And so in gameplay, your Sims can hire a vendor, or if a vendor is already there, you can go ahead and you can purchase ingredients from both of those. So in a way, it's kind of like you're going to the grocery store and purchasing things, which is I think about as good as it can get in the game right now given the current capabilities. And I don't have businesses and hobbies, the new expansion pack that came out just yet, and as a result I'm not able to make this a small business in my game. However, I did build an apartment on top of the grocery store, so because I kind of imagine that the person who owns this grocery store probably lives on top of it, just makes it easier for running the business. So if you wanted to download this for yourself and then run it as a small business or have your Sim live on top, that is an option for you as well. So originally, whenever I built this lot, I also wanted to include a farmer's market of sorts in it as well. And so originally in the back of the lot, because really only the first half, or the front half, that's what it is. The front half of the lot actually has the building itself, and the back half is kind of empty, as you can kind of see right now. I was thinking of putting some stalls back there and having your Sims come and be able to purchase some goods, and I did that for a little bit, but I cut that out and I ended up getting rid of it in the end because I decided I wanted, in my save file, I want to go in at some point and build a farmer's market just as like its own lot, and I want to make it a community space where it has like the maker space, the market, the community garden. I think there's one more, all of those different lots that can be like a hybrid that you can change at any point or vote on with the community board. I want to have a separate lot that is strictly for that, and so that is where I think I'm going to build the farmer's market. And so as a result, I ended up turning this back area into like a parking lot and like a loading dock where I imagine the grocery store, the trucks that hold all of the products that it sells kind of unloads. And yeah, you can kind of see for a split second, like a minute ago, me having the stalls there, but they don't end up staying there. And this build, I had a lot of fun building this, especially when I got to the interior and stocking everything, but a lot of it was me really going through the debug catalog and combing through anything I could find that I think could be sold in a grocery store. And so you'll kind of see in the front when I get to that, me starting to do that and finding different items. And I purposely went out of my way to choose to sell items that aren't going to spoil in game. I think the only exception to that is I ended up in the front putting a couple of the oversized crops just like for a fun display, but I think those have a week of gameplay before they end up spoiling. So just get it within a week. But everything else shouldn't end up spoiling, because it's always really annoying whenever you're in game and these things are meant for display, like dishes, for example, will do that as well, like dishes or food items, and then they end up going bad, and then it just makes the room stink, and then your Sims get the uncomfortable moodlet. I don't really want that in this grocery store, especially because I imagine that this is a place that your Sims would come back to over and over again if you're using this for like grocery gameplay. So yeah, you can see right now I'm putting in some peppers and some onions and tomatoes and all those foods. I imagine that they would have kind of an outdoor display. I'm building this in summer in the game, as you can see, so it would work for that pretty well. And I used a lot of the tool mod and the better build and buy mod, like I always do, but I really relied on it for this one, because with the move objects cheat, you can use the 9 and the 0 keys in order to move items up and down, but sometimes they'll be kind of floating on whatever surface because it's a fixed amount that it moves up or down. But with the tool mod, I can kind of change that so that it will move up and down however much I want it to. And so I ended up using that a lot because I wanted to make the shelves in the store look filled, because it's a grocery store and it's gonna make sense. It makes sense if it is filled with things in it. So that's kind of why I did what I did for that. So one thing to let you know about this build that I ended up running into a little bit of a problem is that there is a glitch in the game right now where the retail system doesn't work, which is so awesome because that's what this entire build is based upon. And so basically whenever I was playtesting it, what would happen is I would click on an object and I would click to have my sim purchase it, and then the sim couldn't do anything. Like it wouldn't open the menu for me to purchase it. Like my mouse would just turn into like the little price tag thing. And I found out that I guess with the new businesses and hobbies patch, it ended up breaking the retail system. So you can't really do the traditional retail system like how it's intended to be. However, I did find a workaround for this. So if you have your sim purchase a retail lot and then another sim goes and tries to buy something on that lot, that is where the problem kind of arises. However, if you have the sim that purchased the lot, then sell the lot, then if you go back in, you should be able to purchase everything. And in the version that I'm uploading to the gallery, I should have everything already preset for sale, but I don't know if that will transfer over. I really hope it does. And we'll get into this a bit more whenever I'm like really into the interior, but there's a bakery section in there as well. And I went and I found a room on the gallery that had a bunch of baked goods, and I went and I stocked everything so that ideally whenever you downloaded it, it would already have baked goods pre-stocked in the little display case and then also the warmer. But then that did not translate into being saved into the library. So if you were to play this for yourself, that won't be there, unfortunately. And same thing with the coolers. I stocked them with eggs so that way your Sims could go in and buy eggs. But unfortunately that did not work as well. So you will have to go in and stock those for yourselves. However, you can find them in the debug menu. And if you don't know how to access that, make sure that you have cheats enabled. So do Control-Shift-C to open the cheat window, type testing cheats space true, and then bb.show hidden objects, and that's gonna be all lowercase, all one word. And yeah, then you should be able to access the debug menu. If you go in the search menu in build mode and you search debug, you should be able to find that, and then you can get the eggs or whatever other item you want in here for yourself. But yeah, you can see now I'm kind of formatting the interior a bit, and you can see where I put the little vendor retail stall that your Sims can tend, or you can hire a vendor. I think that's usually the main way it goes in gameplay, is you have to hire a vendor. I don't know if a vendor will automatically come to this lot, or if you're gonna have to pay the $100 to kind of get it going. I hope that you would just have a vendor on the lot whenever it shows up, and if not, there might be mods for that. However, if you do have to hire a vendor, it shouldn't be that big of a deal because it's $100, but then you could just go in and then cheat the money back, so it's like you didn't even end up doing that. And you can see now I'm kind of doing like a little seafood area in the back here, and I have that little vendor stall merged into the display case there, because I couldn't find a good way to have it in the game without it looking weird like I kind of had with the grocery one. And so it's just going to be really small, but in gameplay the little vendor stall sim is going to stand behind the display case, which is really nice. So it makes it look like someone's actually tending that, which is pretty cool. I don't know if you guys can hear this in the background, but in the background of my room right now, you can hear my neighbors sitting outside and screaming. I live in a college neighborhood because I'm a college student, and so a bunch of other people live here too, and my neighbors love to sit out in their front yard in their porch and just scream all the time. And I get it if it's like kind of evening time, like end of the day, whatever, but it's mid-afternoon right now and they're doing their thing and I can't really do anything about it, so I'm sorry if you can hear it. And I do need to record this voiceover now because I want to get this video out before I leave for spring break. And yeah, so hopefully you guys can hear that. And like, I can maybe get it if it's a nice day out, but it's not. Like, it's pretty cold outside compared to the other days this week, but they're out there playing a drinking game and screaming, which is fine. So yeah, hope that isn't super bothersome. But yeah, you can see that I am now furnishing that back bit that I originally wanted to make a farmer's market, but is now a kind of loading dock area for the grocery store. I put a couple cars there. I imagine that if there is a sim that lives in this apartment, they would park back there, and I put the truck there as well, and I kind of imagine that truck has all of the groceries that are going to be unloaded. And this little room that I'm furnishing right now is kind of where I imagined the stuff from the truck would end up in the back before it made it to the actual grocery floor. There isn't really a whole lot to do in this room in actual gameplay, but it's nice for aesthetics. I just put a couple boxes back there, so if you technically did want to store things, you could. And now I'm back to the actual grocery store interior. You can see that I have a lot of items on the floor right now, and those don't stay there. But those are all things I picked out from debug that I wanted to include in the store. I didn't end up going with all of them, but I put a lot of them in there. And yeah, I ended up, as you can see right now, I'm doing like a little like produce stand area. And the way that I did that was I found this little like wooden cart from debug, and I went and I sized it up. I didn't size it up, I moved it up, and I merged it in with some counters. And now I'm going in and I'm putting some produce, again, the type that doesn't expire, so that way in gameplay it doesn't do that, and moving that up to make it look like that this is where they kind of sell the produce. And you can also see to the left that the coolers and the warmers are all fully stocked, and it looks really cool in gameplay whenever you have it like that and you're able to purchase goods from it. However, like I said, that did not translate over into the saved copy that I have on the library for whatever reason. I wish it would keep it there, so that's kind of annoying, but it is what it is. And I also have a bunch of wall art right now that I pulled out from debug and just the build catalog as well that I'm kind of formatting. Cottage living ended up coming super in handy really for this build as a whole, which I mean makes sense. There's a lot of things that you can do with cottage living that kind of apply to grocery stores, like the whole canning system and the simple living lot challenge. If you have Sims that are living on a lot with the simple living lot challenge, I think this lot would work really good for them, because then you can just go and buy your groceries, and instead of just having to grow them or order them online through the phone or the computer, I think that would work really nicely. So a potential gameplay idea that I had in mind for this build was maybe having a couple live in the apartment above the grocery store and then operating it as a retail store, like it's kind of intended, but then have one sim manage the grocery side and then the other manage the urgent care. Maybe one of the Sims could be in like the doctor career, the medical career, or alternatively, what you could do is have that Sim be a veterinarian and then have that other section of the build that's supposed to be the urgent care operate as a vet clinic. And then you would probably have to go back and forth on the different lot types, whether you want it to be retail or a vet clinic, but I think that would be a really cool way to operate it in gameplay. And it has me wanting to do my own sort of grocery store for gameplay as well. I'll probably just use this one, but I have kind of an off the grid play through that I'm doing just on my own time, and I'm having it so that my Sim is growing all of their own food and they're kind of doing everything themselves, but it's quickly getting to the point where I have so much things I'm producing from the garden and I'm able to sell a lot of it, which is really nice, and I'm able to cook some of it as well. But I think that having a little grocery store to sell the different produce items would be a really cute idea, and so now I kind of want to go in and do that. And then also I was thinking, I know there's a bakery in this grocery store, but I think I want to go ahead and just make my own bakery as well. I think that would be really fun to do. And yeah, you can see now that I'm going in and I'm kind of making a little display case. I feel like a lot of grocery stores that I've been to in real life will have big old displays for sodas and drinks kind of right when you walk in, and so I wanted to kind of mimic that here. I have this on a raised platform area, so it kind of looks, I don't know, noticeable to your Sims, and I'm using the fizzy drinks and the fizzy cans that come with the Eco Lifestyle expansion pack. You can get into juice fizzing, and so I took some of those juices from Debug and I have them displayed here because I imagine that the store gets them as part of their stock. And there's also another display area as well in the store, and I just put some plants on there for your Sims to buy, as well as some picnic baskets. Whenever I did this kind of layout, I imagine that this area, there's like the produce area when you walk in, there's the freezers, and then kind of all the food is angled or put towards the back, and then towards the side where the cash register is, I kind of have that set up as an outdoor area, so your Sims can purchase some seeds so they can start gardening, including the oversized crop seeds that came with cottage living. I also have some fertilizers and then the little garden vacuum that your Sim can use as well, because I feel like also a lot of grocery stores will have a little outdoor area for you to use as well. This is, I don't know if you can probably tell, but this is kind of what I pictured as like a mom and pop store. Definitely not, it's no Walmart or Target, and that's by design because as convenient as those stores are, they're ugly and I don't want them in my save file. And so I think this is a very nice alternative. And you can see now that I'm going in and I'm stocking the shelves with the different wines. I ended up cutting out a lot of the footage of me just stocking shelves because it's kind of boring and it's me doing the same thing over and over again, and I don't think anyone wants to watch this. And if I didn't cut anything out, I think this all sped up was still like an hour long, something crazy like that, and that's just far too long for this speed build, and I also don't want to talk for an hour. So I cut this down, so it's 30 minutes now, which I think is much more manageable, but I did want to keep a little bit of each section in because I wanted you to kind of see what I was doing for some of it. I didn't want to just cut out everything that I stocked, but I wanted to leave it enough to where you can kind of see my thought process and what I decided to do for each section of the store, but at the same time not making it too redundant. So for example, I think this is kind of the last area of stocking that I include in the store. Maybe not, I might be lying there, but this is where the canned goods go. And so there are 16 different canned items that you can do with cottage living, I believe. There may be more, I don't know. But I found a room on the gallery that has all of these different canned goods already pre-made, which is really nice. Big thank you to that creator. I don't remember who I got it from, but if you just were to search on the gallery like canned goods, I'm sure you would find it. But I went in and I placed them all on this shelf, and on the two sides of the shelf, I kind of imagined that one side is where all of like the savory canned goods are, which I believe is the side I'm working on right now. So I put like the mayonnaise, the custard, the different mushroom conserves, the meat substitutes. I put them over there, and on the other side, that's where all the jams are. So strawberry jam, raspberry jam, blueberry, chocolate syrup, all that's going to be on the side facing towards the window. And I really like how that turned out. I think it's cool that your Sims can go in game and then just purchase canned goods and then take them home and cook with them. That's probably one of my favorite parts of cottage living, is that you can actively turn the gardening skill into other things that your Sims can make and buy and do. It just is nice to have more things to do with certain skills and to kind of have that like cross pack playability with it. And this is the outdoor area that I was talking about earlier. Here I am stocking it with different seed packets. You can see I also put the catnip seed packet from cats and dogs as well, because I just feel like it'd be fun for to get that for your cat if you like. And upstairs is what I'm currently working on. And so whenever you go up the stairs in this building, there's going to be two bathrooms, so a men's and a women's, and then there is almost an employee break room. Kind of imagine where, you know, if you're on break or you need to eat lunch, this is where you would do it. And so I just put a mini fridge, a microwave, and a sink, as well as just some miscellaneous storage or surfaces and a table for your Sims to sit at. It's really nothing fancy, and it's like that on purpose because I feel like there's not a whole lot going on here. And oh my gosh, my neighbors are screaming really loud now, so I really hope that's not being picked up again. How fun! This is awesome. It's really the best whenever it's like 11 o'clock at night and I'm trying to go to bed because I have class the next day and they're all doing it. And then it's just I don't sleep, which is fine. I've kind of gotten used to it as I've lived here. And I found that if I turn on the ceiling fan at night, that really helps a lot with muting or at least canceling out the sound, but it's not 100%. But I hear a lot go on every night, which is so fun. It's never a dull moment in the neighborhood I live in. There's a lot of music too. I'll fall asleep a lot of times hearing music from outside, and honestly sometimes that's kind of comforting. Like sometimes it'll be really annoying because it's loud, but other times I'll just hear the bass from songs being played because that's like the only part of the sound that travels over to my room, and so that is almost soothing in a way. And so I don't really mind that. And sometimes I really do like the ambiance of having people outside around me while I'm kind of doing my thing, especially when I'm out on the porch myself having fun. But it's times like these that make it just a little bit inconvenient. So again, sorry if you hear that. But now I'm going in, as you can see, and I'm furnishing the apartment. I didn't want to make it look super nice or look really cluttered or detailed in any way. It's pretty bare bones, just because I didn't really have a Sim in mind living here. I don't know for my save file if I'm going to have a Sim that has purchased this grocery store live here, because that's technically not a thing that can officially happen with the get to work system, at least. Like, you can't live on the same lot that your business is in. I know you can do that with the new expansion pack, but I feel like that kind of makes things convoluted a bit, because if I were to do that, they would have this apartment, but they would also have to have another lot that they live on, and it doesn't make sense for Sims to have 2 lots. However, I did want to furnish this apartment in case you downloaded this and then wanted to have an apartment all nice and ready to go. So I went, and it is fully furnished. I did put a couple clutter items in there just to make it look somewhat lived in, kind of, but nothing crazy. Like, I don't think you could really assume anything about a Sim's personality from this furnishing, which is kind of how I intended it to be. Just nothing fancy, but enough to make it look like there is something there. And it is just a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom apartment, and then there's also a balcony that overlooks the whole neighborhood, like on the front. It's like where the front entrance is, and I find that really cool. I kind of forget sometimes that apartments can have balconies, and so I don't know, I think that's like a really cool part of this apartment that I end up liking. So I mentioned a little bit earlier in this voiceover that I wanted to get this video out before I leave for spring break, which at the time of me recording this, I'm leaving tomorrow. So the hope is that this video will be up by then. I don't see why it wouldn't be, but because of that, I didn't end up having time to record anything else to kind of schedule and upload during my spring break. So as a result, I won't be uploading for a couple of weeks. I've been trying to upload once a week-ish for the last month or so, and it's been going pretty well. I like that schedule. I think I want to stick to that, but I'm not bringing my computer home with me for spring break, and so I can't play Sims. And so as a result, you're just gonna have to wait till I come back from spring break in order to get some more uploads, which I think is fine. I'd rather it be like quantity, or no, not quantity, but I'd rather it be a quality build over like quantity, like something I just produced to like have up on the channel while I'm away. I'm just going home, so a couple hours away, nothing crazy. I'm not going on any trips or anything like that. I did last year. I ended up going to visit a friend on the other side of the country, and it was fun. I enjoyed catching up with her. However, it's stressful. That's like something people don't tell you whenever you travel on short breaks that are only like a week or 2, is that like it's kind of stressful, you know? You really don't get a full break. It's really not a break if you think about it, because you have to, you know, travel, find a place to stay, find things to do, pay for it all, which is so fun. But just in general, like, you just don't feel at least I did not feel refreshed afterwards. It was a lot of fun. I'm glad I did it. But I think for this spring break, I'm just really excited to just not do that and just really relax. So yeah, I don't really have any specific plans for it. However, I am excited that I don't have specific plans for it. And yeah, now I am doing the urgent care part of the building, which you can see. So if you look in the kind of reception area, I have shelves with bottles of medicine on it, and those are the things your Sims can buy in order to like cure their illness or whatever if they end up getting sick in game. So you just go to the lot, go to this urgent care, and then click purchase on the medicine, and then that'll do the trick. Now these patient rooms back here are more just kind of for looks. I don't think any of these objects, like the exam bed, the little x-ray machine, I don't think those are functional in gameplay unless you're at the specific hospital lot, but I wanted to include it because it's fun, you know. And if you were to go to a real urgent care, they would check you in, you'd wait a really long time in the waiting room. I guess that's one part about this is that isn't realistic, is that I think I only have 2 chairs in the waiting room. There'd probably be a lot more. But yeah, you would wait a really long time in real life, and then you get called back to one of these rooms where they would then treat you. And so I wanted to have at least one of those in there because it's what you'd see. And then I also have the chemical analyzer object from Get to Work in the hallway as well, just because I imagined, like, again, if it was real life, they would go ahead and they would do tests on you, and then they would run those tests and get results from it. And so I didn't really have a specific place to put the test results, but I or to put the lab to test it in, so I just put it in the hallway. And yeah, now you can see that I'm on the screenshots. So if you enjoyed this speed build, you can go ahead and download it from the gallery with my user ID kalimsiYT. And if you like the video, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye everybody.